Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it might be for y'all today. Today I'm going to review something I've wanted to review for a while but just never really had a chance to, and that's a wireless guitar system. And it's funny because I primarily demo guitar content, and yet I have yet to demo a wireless guitar setup. So today that changes, all thanks to the sponsor of this video, Xvive. Now Xvive recently sent me their P58 guitar wireless system, and it's a pretty sick setup. It's got a guitar tuner built into the receiver portion of it. And this is a 24-bit 48 kilohertz wireless system, and they're claiming less than 5 milliseconds of latency. That is really nothing. You won't be able to notice that small of an amount of latency. Some modelers actually have more latency than that. So I'm pretty stoked to try this out. Let's open it up. So Xvive classifies this as a true buffered bypass, which is also nice because you're not going to lose so much of the signal over the wireless setup. Same reason a lot of people like to have buffered pedals as well. Like my normal guitar tuner is a buffered tuner as well, because I have a ton of pedals in between there. They're also claiming up to 100 feet of range on this, and just from the weight of the box, this is built pretty damn sturdy. Yeah, the receiver portion of it is really, really solid. This feels like any of my stomp boxes. Like the button feels really, really clean on it. And the inputs and outputs are made with, metal washers instead of the cheap plastic washers that a lot of brands like to use these days. You've got a 5-volt output on here, so you can actually charge other stuff, which is pretty cool. You can turn the true bypass and buffer on and off, so you can switch it from buffer on the right to true bypass on the left. Nice feature there if you're using fuzz pedals because they don't tend to like buffers. So really cool to see that on there. Let's go ahead and do the thing that we all love doing and peel the plastic off. I don't know. Anybody else like to do that? Okay, so just right off the bat, I really like how well this is built. Next up in the box, we have the receiver, which I can already see nice and small. It's gonna be able to stick in and out of a guitar super simply. And I see now why they have the USB-C charge out of the receiver portion of it, because the transmitter charges through USB Type-C. So you'll be able to charge the transmitter just by plugging in the receiver to power. So very, very useful. On the transmitter, we have an on-off switch and a channel/mode switch. Because although this wireless system does scan and find the best, cleanest channel itself, you can manually switch the channel if you need to, if you're ever in a situation where you're getting interference. Which I did read some reviews on this before trying it out. I don't really see anybody having that issue with it. So it's got very high reviews on Sweetwater and Amazon and places like that. So I think they killed it, but we're gonna test it out here. What else do we have in the box though? What else do we have in the box? All right, in the box, we've got a lot of instructions that I'm not gonna read. I don't do instructions, man. Okay, we've got a short little USB-C cable, hence to plug these two into each other. So a nice little USB-C cable came with it. In an age where so many manufacturers are not giving you charging cables, it's nice to have. All right, and the AC adapter to plug in the receiver itself. I'm glad that that comes with it as well. Let's see what kind of receiver it is. Okay, this is a 12 volt, so it will run on 12 volt power supplies, but not your normal 9 volt. So keep that in mind if you buy this. You will need either to just use its own power supply that it comes with, or make sure that your power supply for your pedal board includes a 12 volt. I mean, I haven't seen one lately that doesn't. Probably the cheapest ones out there might not. But I have 3 different powered pedal boards, and each of them has up to 12 volts. Actually, one of them has up to 18 volts on it. So convenience, right? All right, so we've done the unboxing, we've gone over the specs for everything on here. One last thing to cover before we jump into testing this out is that the transmitter itself does have up to 5 hours of battery life. I've never played a show for longer than an hour, and so I think 5 hours is pretty safe. You won't need to charge it very often. But people like to know about battery life, so. And one last thing to note before we test it out is these are, at the time of filming this video, priced at $249. So I'd say that's a pretty fair price for what this is capable of doing. If it delivers, let's go ahead and plug it in and check it out. Give me just a sec. All right, so you should see up on screen right now, we've got my PV Invective with the Xvive P58 receiver plugged into it. And then I've got the transmitter here. Haven't turned it on yet, so let's go ahead and turn it on and we'll check out the pairing process. So on we are. We've got a blue light happening here and it looks like it already found a channel. We're on channel 1. So if I needed to switch channels, I could switch by going channel mode right here on the side of it, and I can switch between those channels. And you can see now the receiver is actually lit up and receiving a signal. So let's go ahead and plug this in. I am using a headless guitar today, and so you can see how that fits in there. If we wanted to, we could bend it out of the way though, and we could also do this where it's bent in front of the guitar instead. So it sticks there pretty easily, and it's out of the way to play sitting down too if I needed to. Obviously this is meant to play, live. So let's go ahead and turn on the PV and see what we get. You know what would help though, is plugging the receiver into the amp. So let me do that real quick. All right, self-inflicted technical difficulties out of the way. Let's see how this works. It works. That's loud as heck. So since we're on the clean channel, let's go ahead and just listen. I don't have the cab mic'd up, so we're going to have to rely on the camera audio here because I wanted this to be real. I didn't want anything edited in post or anything like that, so. Honestly, I forget how loud this little 20-watt Invective is. That thing is loud. So far, so good. There's no weird frequency garbling or anything like that that I can hear. The only thing happening is the PV is shaking my walls and it's shaking my desk. So let's go ahead and switch over to the distorted channel now. Yeah, I'm not noticing any latency that's audible to my ears here. That's pretty sick. Definitely loving that. Let me get a strap on my guitar and let's go ahead and walk away from this and see how far we can get with the wireless system. And again, I love that this thing can curve and get out of the way while I'm playing sitting down. This actually would be great for live streaming on Twitch. So I'm gonna try it out with that later too. Let me grab a strap and let's walk around. All right, so here is what it looks like with it on the guitar while you're playing. Obviously you could probably then curve it under so it's not really all that visible. So now it's just kind of at the bottom of my guitar. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to leave my lapel mic that I have recording everything right now. I'm gonna leave it right here in front of the amp so you guys can still hear me playing, but I'm gonna grab my phone and we're gonna walk around with the phone instead. So we'll leave this right here and then I'm going to take my phone and I'm just gonna chug along, honestly. Forgive me if this angle is just total crap because I don't really have another better way to do this. So let's go and walk around my house a little bit. Still going. All right, let's try going outside real quick. So, let me not hit my guitar on any walls or anything like that. Okay, so now we're outside through a door. Cool. So we are probably close to 100 feet away from it at this point, and it stayed connected just fine. No dropouts. I mean, we'll see that in the footage. Here. I'm walking very awkwardly because I'm trying to not hit my guitar on everything. All right. Say hello to Miss Juniper, everyone. And Chloe, All right, that was pretty good. I would say that's a pretty damn good test. Considering when you're playing on stage somewhere, you're probably not gonna go through any closed doors and hope that it still connects. Which means that this is still going to be connected when you're on stage and walking around, or maybe you have your pedal board or your rack unit down somewhere else. It's pretty good. All right, color me impressed. And yes, I did receive this for free, so I kind of have to say good things about it, but I also don't. I'm not being paid for this video. They did just send me the wireless system. So, I don't know about y'all, but for me, that makes me a believer. The Xvive P58 is a really great system. Simple to use, literally just turn it on. It doesn't get much more simple than that. The range does exactly what it says it's going to do. Battery life is to be determined, so I'll probably do a follow-up review on this in a couple of months after a lot of testing. I'm not playing live anytime soon, but I am going to be live streaming a lot, and it sucks being attached to a cable if I want to walk around and do stuff when I'm streaming for 2 to 3 hours at a time. So having a sick wireless system like this is great, especially since you've got a built-in tuner on it. Having the built-in tuner is pretty clutch because that's one less thing that you need on your pedal board. So if I wanted to tune right now, I literally, you can see how out of tune I was. Yeah, I was pretty far out of tune. That's a me problem though. That tends to happen a lot. Oh, one string was in tune, one string was in tune. But again, this replaces a tuner on your pedal board. It's a buffered tuner, it's true bypass. This thing does what you need it to do. What else would you like to know about it though? Let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them through comments or in my follow-up review of this later. But that's it for now. If you made it this far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps your boy out a ton. And until next time, peace and love, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye now.